Monday night, 8-game slate. What a lovely weekend we've had at Run Pure Sports. We'll talk all about that. Big T almost got to the top on Friday night. Almost. And
is that the freaking Ohtani night?
You were upset about Ohtani, but earlier in the day you told me that you wanted to play the Dodgers. And I was with you on the Dodgers. I questioned playing a highly owned Gavin Williams and said, I'm sure there are some pivots. And you were upset with me. Gavin Williams was fine, I said, but it turns out that Toguaki Sugano actually outscored him by 0.25.
No, JT, Gavin Williams was fantastic. Don't be trying to throw him under the bus here before any of us get a word in.
50,
yeah, I don't know where.
Well, actually, he ended up coming in lower owned. But anyway, congrats, Big T. DC wasn't even talking to you, but
it doesn't matter.
Did you see how sick that was, though? The Ohtani, like anything but a grand slam, and I get second.
JT, I would have shipped the FanDuel flagship, but the Ohtani.
Yes.
A freaking Ohtani of all people. How does he come up with bases loaded in the last inning or whatever?
I mean, I guess if you're thinking about this from a baseball perspective, 1-1 game, you have to pitch to him with the bases loaded, right?
Yeah.
But he shouldn't. He was up. He was like the 8th batter of the inning. He shouldn't even got to play the.
It was a very long inning when you're sweating the top.
Yeah.
And then just the absolute nuke job where it's like not even a doubt. He's like, whoa!
No,
like,
it was one of them right away. You're like, oh, I'm going to bed.
And you know, this season, as we get into the season here, the Dodgers are going to be one of those teams that you don't want to be fading the last game of the night when you've got something cooking, right? It's the Dodgers, Yankees in certain spots. Yankees, of course, just smashed all weekend against the Oakland A's and the Cubs. And the Cubs are on tonight's slate. They're the best hitting team on tonight's slate. You've got the Mets on tonight's slate. We'll talk about that. But really, really frustrating, obviously. And then, you know, the way this shapes up, guys, the flagship yesterday, $15 was won by like a 3-3-1-1. We're seeing more of that in the winners. And I think you're going to see a little bit more of that because there's more pinch hitting going on than we've seen in the past. And there's a have and a have nots, very clear have and a have nots offensively this year. And tough break for you guys having the Dodgers coming up behind your Yankees teams who all smashed. So
the worst part was too, the Dodgers was my main team. So in like the big contest, I had Ohtani and I had them all. So it like shot my main team up, but not even close to being able to cover like a 10K swing.
Yeah. But as you say, right, we'll take the 10 stacks, we'll take the 2 stacks, and we're on to tonight. And we're on to tonight, and we've got 8 games. Interesting slate here. We've got some top pitchers on the slate. DC, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Travis's photos today threw me for a little bit of a loop, but we've recovered in time to do this baseball show. I'm ready to be mocked for my pitching takes once again, as is seems to be the case every Monday afternoon. So, got my Jon Snow sword out over here.
Who in the world was it last week that you were arguing?
Some cheap pitchers that did awesome is what happened.
No way. Who was it?
I can't. I just think
you got to remember these takes because last week people loved our show more than any show in a while, and I can't remember what the argument was.
It was a good show. It wasn't the Brewers and the Giants, or the Brewers and the Tigers. That was 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago was the banana hammock. Last week, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Last week you were tilted, JT. You were very upset with us all show, and there was a lot of arguments.
Okay, all right. Homan Finney is here. He says the
Milwaukee. Oh yeah, Tobias Myers lost his mind.
Okay, let's.
Tobias.
He did not smash. He did not smash.
Oh, Jay, stop.
He did not smash.
You got to take it out. He pitched. You started by saying I'm the middleman in this one. You started by saying it was a bullpen game.
And it looked like a bullpen game.
It did look like no bullpen.
Except for those of us using our noggins and knew it wasn't JT.
Please,
JT, you got to bring it home on this one.
Someone wants to give tickets away, but honestly, we have lives and we've been busy all day. So
also, let me just say this, JT. I love you. You're very bad at taking an L. I've never seen you Just
but no. Hold on a second. Hold on. I said I was wrong in that he went more than 2 innings.
That's always, but
hold on. He didn't drag anybody balls.
Yes, he
did. Come on.
If you can't take an L on this one,
14 points. 14 points.
He was the cheapest one, and there was no pitchers on the slate.
Look at the chat. Take the L. Terrible L.
You got to take the L on
he
this
wasn't
one.
whatever. All right. He didn't pitch 6 innings.
See?
All right. So let's get into the games because I'm disgusted already. I'm just fuck. Okay. All right. We've got 8 games. And someone wanted to give away tickets, but thank you, Big T. Someone wanted to give away tickets, but honestly, it's just too much. It's just too much for us to absorb today. It was Erie. Erie hit for 25K over the weekend. Wanted to give some love back, but I mean, it's just too much. We'll get into these games. Let's start with the first game. This should be an interesting discussion. And Big T, tell the people what you're going to do while we are going through these games.
I was just going to screen share so we can see the lineup, see the bad pitchers DC is going to recommend up close and personal. So I wasn't going to do anything crazy. I was just going to show them how I use SaberSim and how you can bump some stuff. Nothing crazy, though. I was just putting something on the screen.
Okay. First game is the Pirates at the Mets. Pirates, of course, firing manager Derek Shelton over the weekend. Paul Skeens, DC, in some media interviews saying, look, we have to learn something from this or this is going to be a lost season. It's a little different Paul Skeens than we've seen so far compared to last season. In fact, over his last 3 starts, a 4.17 xFIP, a 24% strikeout rate, but a 12% walk rate. Now he gets the Mets here. Now, over the course of his career, his short career, he's shown, and you need to go back no further than just 3 starts ago against the Dodgers where he dominated them, that he likes pitching in these marquee matchups, but he's been a different pitcher. The Mets have been absolutely firing on all cylinders offensively. What are your thoughts here on the Mets and the Pirates?
So I'm not playing Skeens today. I mean, at a certain point, you got to listen, not that he's been bad, but he's not produced to the level I think that we expected. The manager stuff, I don't know what your thoughts are, JT, but it struck me as a little bit of an awkward interview where, you know what it reminds me of? Reminds me of captain's guy Roki Sasaki crying in the dugout after getting pulled early in the game. I don't trust Paul Skeens right now, especially against the Mets, who it's just like, I know you look at the whole lineup as a whole, that's a better way to do it. But when you look at like how Skeens is going to have to start this game, right? It's just brutal starting against Lindor, Soto, Alonso, and you're just off to a rough start where it's often like you give up 1 or 2 runs and you've thrown 30 pitches to get to the first inning, and it's a hard thing to come back from at 9,700. So Skeens still has all the talent in the world. There's no denying that, but I'm kind of been off of him most of the year relative to the field, and I'm going to stay that way here. Again, if you're on Paul Skeens tonight, you think he's going to, bounce back and shove, obviously capable of it. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm going elsewhere. I don't want to pick on, is this the hottest team in baseball right now? I mean, outside of, the Padres coming outside of Coors, I don't know if that counts. But legitimately.
Dodgers, Yankees, Mets. I mean, on neutral fields, Dodgers, Yankees, Mets.
Sure, yeah. And I just don't want to pick on the Mets right now when I think are other decent options. So I'm off of Skeens. I don't think he's a bad play, but not for me. Peterson, I mean, I think he's okay at 8,200 against the Pirates, a team we like to pick on. Do we get the Pirates lineup yet? I assume no.
No, and James Sarcone says Tommy Pham was suspended. That's why the Pittsburgh lineup is not out yet. I'm not sure what Tommy Pham did, but obviously something to draw the ire of Major League Baseball.
He slapped a fantasy football player, some Tommy Pham. I mean, I don't think O'Neal Cruz is going to be in there, but even if he has this left versus left, I'm not that worried about it. I do think Peterson, 8,200, is a pretty good play. I'm not crazy about the pitcher himself, but you do have to look at this matchup, I think. So that's where I stand in bats in this game. Honestly, if I was going to go to one thing for one lineup, give me the top of the Mets lineup against Paul Skeens. I'll take my chances at 1% owned, whatever it is, and see how it works out. But not crazy about bats in this game overall.
Just want to address a couple of things in chat. Someone said I was bad at taking the L. I mean, 2 weeks ago I wore a banana mask. I mean,
before the banana mask, you told me how lucky I was, and it was 6-2, and it was 38 hits to 4 hits, and you gave like 23 reasons why.
Here's the thing, Big T. Even in the banana mask, he was making excuses while he had it on.
He had the mask on.
I lost. I wore the mask. I wore the mask.
We didn't even talk about this either, because I thought of JT and DC when it happened. How good was it, Paul Pierce? First of all, do you guys think he actually? How much did he walk of that actually himself?
I've been exactly where he is. He walked
8 miles. I'm dubious.
You think he walked the whole thing?
That's what I said. I don't. Dubious means I'm suspicious that he did.
I'm curious because there's so many cameras though that you would think someone would like snatch him getting in a car or something, but maybe he just like did it sneakily.
Pierce, though?
Yeah. Well, and he was wearing a robe, so he could have like been like, no one knows who that dude is.
The KG driving by, like sticking out of the Range Rover or whatever.
That made it look more fake to me. Was one of the.
And then Kevin Reed commenting on my core from yesterday. It was lovely. It was the Giants and the Astros. So that was nice, stacked against Pablo Lopez. And as some had said, the best pitcher on the slate, DC, Chase Petty. We felt otherwise. So we went the other direction.
Don't try to claim it was me who had Chase Petty as the best.
It wasn't you. Big T, here's what I wrote in the playbook about Skeens. Just like I said, he's shown up in these matchups. He gets excited to take on these talented teams. The Mets, one of the best teams in baseball right now, maybe one of the top 3 or 4 offenses. But the way he's pitched recently, and maybe pitching for this franchise, the uncertainty, the fact that it looked at least like some of these position players had quit a little bit. I'm on the fence as to what to do. I'm certainly not going to be overweight on Skeens. I do think Met stacks are intriguing because even if Skeens is good, you're still going to get probably 3 innings of this Pirates bullpen. What are your thoughts here on the Mets and the Pirates?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting slate because no one's going to like the pitchers at the top. First of all, there's only, I think, 3 guys above 8K or something like that, right? I mean, there's no spend up, so it's tough. And then you get a guy like Skeens in a really tough matchup. You see the same stuff all around, like the stats and stuff, how he just doesn't look as good this year. His numbers aren't. He's still solid. Like you said, he dominated the Dodgers or whoever it was.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got some risk to him that he normally wouldn't last year. But these are the slates where I like to do the opposite of DC, where everyone wants to go cheap. I kind of want to lean into the tough matchup and the spend up and the upside that JT was talking about. I definitely have another guy ahead of him, but I'm going to have him. And I don't know, like what ownerships. I don't think he's going to be that high because his projection's not that high. We don't have a full Pittsburgh lineup yet, but his projection's light comparative to what you would expect. He's projected to be owned mid-20s here. Yeah, I mean, we got, right around 20% for Skeens on a slate with no upside. I mean, yeah, I in the $5, I will be above the field for sure on Skeens tonight. I want maybe double the field, about 40% if we think 20. And the Mets, I mean, with the Mets lineup, I just don't. I agree totally with what you guys were saying at the top. But all of a sudden, I mean, you start to get down. I don't like Vientos against a guy like Skeens. I mean, the bottom looks terrible. So, the top couple could definitely make a case for the top. Maybe a mini stack. Maybe like JT was saying, a lot of 3-3, 1-1 type things have been doing good. I could 100% see doing these top couple guys. But all of a sudden, you throw the 5-man. I don't feel good about any of this at the bottom versus Skeens. And Peterson, I think Peterson's more of a safe type play where I think he's pretty safe to get you about 16, 17. Is that enough at 8,200? It's all slate dependent, right? There's no just absolute hammers in there tonight. And I don't know. I might take 17 at 8,200 tonight and move on. So
Let me
I don't
throw in
know.
one
I'm more on the pitchers. What's that?
Brett Beatty, 4 home runs in his last 6 games. Top
Really?
prospect.
Yeah, the only guy in this lineup that I don't love is Jeff McNeil. Everybody else is hitting. I mean, everybody else is hitting. Luis Angel Acuna, we'll get on and steal a bag.
If the whole team is good plays at their own.
Pete Alonso isn't hitting. Pete Alonso's icebergs right now.
What are you talking about? He's been like one of the best hitters in baseball over the course of the year.
Oh, the course of the year, yeah. We're talking about
the season's been a month and a half long, T. Come on.
The last week he's got like 4 hits. He's done nothing.
I mean,
it's all right. We can have that. You can have Pete Alonso against Skeens. I'm on.
All right.
I'll take Lindor and Soto as my 2.
Okay.
You can have the rest of the dump truck. You can have Brett Beatty. You guys can have him in his hot streak.
So you're double the field, Big T, on Skeens, and then what about the Mets? You're going to limit them to minis? I mean,
the only 2 that'll. Well, no, I'll have the lefties. I'll have Lindor, Soto, Nemo. Definitely not McNeil. Beatty, I'll leave in too, just because he's cheap and he's hot, like you guys said. But Acuna's a righty, right?
Is he a switch hitter?
Is he? If he's the lefty, I'll leave him in too. I'm taking Pete Alonso out, Vientos out, McNeil out, taking all those dump truck righties out.
What about? All right. I don't know what to say to this because
JT, you're a time-conscious guy. We're still in the first game of the night here, by the way. You're right.
Here's the point I'll make. If Skeens is great, you're still going to get 2+ innings of this bullpen almost no matter what happens. And with this Mets team, I mean, we've seen it in a couple of games just last week where 7th, 8th, 9th inning, all these guys do is fucking hit home runs. That's all they do. It's
save your Mets team for we can get another bet going this week. You can have this Mets team.
I don't feel. See, we're gonna struggle. I think to find offense on this slate outside of a couple of clear spots. One I don't trust whatsoever. But anyway, all right, we'll move on because DC is right. We all do have cores and lineups to get in. Got to put some individual players in the playbook as well. Let's move on, DC, to the next game. It is the Washington Nationals heading in to Atlanta right here, where it's about to rain for a little while. Jake Irvin at 7,200, Grant Holmes 7,400. I mentioned the weather, Big T. Looks like we're going to get a thunderstorm right here around 6-ish, a little after. Then it should clear up. They should play this game through. Irvin, Holmes, the Nats, the Braves. The Braves have been putrid. They scored 9 runs, Big T, in 3 games at Pittsburgh and did not have to face Paul Skeens during any of those games. What are your thoughts on the Nats and the Braves?
Yeah, the Braves have been quite the dilemma this year because I still look at them and some of their guys. Honestly, you could be onto something with the 3-3-1-1 type stuff because a lot of these lineups, I can find a couple guys I like, which everyone can usually, but in the past, like the Braves, you would always like all 9 guys. The last couple of years, we'd come on these shows and be like, I can stack the bottom. I mean, you had like Michael Harris and these guys at the bottom forever. Now you got Nick Allen and Eli White every single year or every single day, which is an issue to begin with. Verdugo's been pretty good, but you still just, I don't know. I just don't love the line. I like Sean Murphy against certain guys. I don't know. I just don't love the spot, but like you said, it's an 8-game slate. There's not the normal slates we've had lately with big-time offenses in good parks. I mean, you got the Yankees are in a bad stadium. There's no cores. There's not the same upside spots that we've seen, at least in my opinion. So
let me give you a little bit more data on the Braves. Eli White's been the best hitter over the course of the last 2 weeks. Alex Verdugo 0 for his last 24 or 25. It's been ugly. And by the way, Jake Irvin, who we don't play a lot, Jake Irvin's had success against this Braves team.
We want cheap pitchers tonight. I know DC wants it, and I'm glad when you tell me stuff like that. I've been saying to Captain, I want to get that on the site because how much I like game logs. I would love to see the last 2 weeks just straight across and see a bunch of zeros for Verdugo, because I would just never play a guy. If he hasn't got a hit in 24 appearances, I'm just literally never playing him. So I'm glad you said that. Take him out of there. And that stuff's the stuff I actually like. And I know the chat makes fun of me for the game logs, but if I know a guy hasn't got a hit that long, I know I'm not playing him tonight. So
got several people in here talking about how much they love it. DC, Jake Irvin, Grant Holmes. Holmes going to be a little bit popular. The Nats.
I love that DC likes this guy now, by the way. He made fun of me so hard in our first show.
Grant Holmes? No, I hate Grant Holmes.
You hate him? You still hate him?
Yeah.
You've scored him like 3 times since
One
then.
time.
Felt like 3.
I mean, that's not on me. I scored him 1 time. I will say, just real quick, though, I love that this show's, I would say, devolving into like anything goes from the chat between us, like insults. It's I like the gloves off approach that this show is devolving into.
Yeah.
Back to this game.
Who insulted you?
No, just they're just kind of flying. I love to see it.
All right.
I'm not a Grant Holmes. I'm not Grant Holmes. That's Big T's guy. That's Kenny, the Kenny Powers wannabe, right? I just don't.
Yeah.
If you're any good at pitching, you're not gonna grow out the freaking Kenny Powers full outfit, right? He's a fraud. he tricked people with this outfit for a while. Now he's getting shelled most of the time. I like the Nationals a little bit here. You guys are playing Jake Irvin, really? JT, you hate the Braves now. Explain yourself. Every time you want to stack against the Braves.
I mean, what more do we have to look at besides?
They've been good. The Braves have.
What?
The Braves have been good. Look at their performance over the last couple of weeks.
I just said they scored 9 runs in 3 games in Pittsburgh. Do you think that's good?
No, all right. I guess before that series, but anyway, yeah, you sound like you want to defend Jake Irvin against the Braves.
I said I think you can play Jake. I think you can play most pitchers. Carmen Mlodzinski shut this team down for 5+ innings yesterday. 2 strikeouts because he doesn't get strikeouts. Irvin's had a 30-point game against this Braves team last year. When you think about the Braves, I think we all think about 2023, where you were dead on most slates if you didn't play most of the Braves. This is not the same team. They're older. They're weaker, as Big T pointed out at the bottom, all kidding aside of Eli White being the best hitter. Alex Verdugo was DFA'd by several teams. He had a hot first week because the National League didn't have any recent data on him. Now they have data. Now they have video. He can't hit the ball out of the infield. So this is just the reality of where the team is. I think there are people who would say, that's my team, I have to whatever. I'm looking at it objectively. This is a bottom 10 offense in Major League Baseball right now.
Agree to disagree on it. They're not a bottom 10 offense. There's just no way. But anyway.
I'm officially on JT's side for this one, just to mark our scorecards.
Oh, fine.
But go on. Tell me you like the Braves here, DC. Go ahead.
I think probably obvious by now that I'm in on the Braves. Yep. I don't think Jake Irvin is any good. Verdugo is a guy I don't like, but I do like 2 through 8 really without Nick Allen, who I don't want, who's out there for his defense. But yeah, I'm in on the Braves.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We've got the next game, DC. We'll stick with you. Uncle T is on the Braves too.
There we go.
That's nice. All right. It's good. Marlins head into Chicago. We've got Cal Quantrill, who you
that
have.
That is not true, B-Nair.
You have.
That is not true.
So
See, you're incorrect, B-Nair.
So good. Cal Quantrill, DC says he's not interested in Colin Ray at 6,800 against the Marlins. Marlins stay in Chicago. And this Cubs team, it's almost every slate, right? You should have at least some of these guys, DC. Now they get Cal Quantrill and the Marlins bullpen. Yeah. Nice night in Chicago. Not a heavy win one way or the other. Low 60s. They get out of Citi Field, back into Wrigley. Good spot for the Cubs. What are your thoughts?
So I have not played the Cubs like any of their games when it's 45 degrees and the wind's blowing in. Which honestly, there's been, I mean, how many of those games? 15. Like a lot of the baseball season has been those games at Wrigley, and the Cubs have got the job done generally, right? Of course, not every time. Anyway, I'm kind of over fading the Cubs because there's 4 mile per hour of winds blowing in at Wrigley,
Yeah.
Like it's not like it's a blizzard, you know what I mean? Just this team just gets the job done night after night. It's going to be 68 degrees at game time with 10 mile per hour winds, right? I understand the models.
I'm seeing between 5 and 10, but that's pretty
right. So I understand the models hate the run scoring environment here, but man, Quantrill's one of the worst pitchers in baseball. The Cubs just smashing everybody. The Marlins, without a doubt, one of the worst bullpens. I'm sure this will be the time the Cubs, can't hit through the Wrigley wind, but I'm in on the Cubs here. I have to be. My favorite stack tonight. So in on the Cubs.
Yeah.
Honestly, on the other side, I know it contradicts the weather thing a little bit, but I do like Camporeale at a pretty cheap price point against this Marlins team. If we still think the weather is obviously positive overall for pitching. So all Cubs for me here. Honestly, two of my favorite plays are the Cubs stack and Rhea on the other side, probably on my main team tonight.
Big T, it's let me list out the upgrades here for the Cubs. You go from Citi Field to your home park, which happens to be Wrigley Field. It's a nice night. You just faced the Mets pitching staff, which last time I checked, which was this morning, believe they have the lowest earned run average in all of baseball in terms of starting pitchers. Bullpen's been good. Now you get to face the Marlins pitchers at home. What are your thoughts here on the Marlins and the Cubs?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what DC was saying there, where the Cubs just all year, I feel like I've played them a little bit, but not enough. There's been so many slates, even on our show, where I just won't play them because the wind's blowing in, and they have had some bad weather games, which shows you even more how much upside they might have if they actually get in some good spots, where even today is not some insane park or weather. So I am totally in agreement with what DC was saying with this one, where pitching's rough on this slate. You get Camporeale, only 6,800 in there. The Marlins have a couple guys that have hit pretty good and above expectation, but they're a team that I don't want hardly any of tonight. I want a lot of Camporeale, and I think the Cubs are probably my favorite team too. But my only worry at all is, man, are they going to be high owned? Everyone sees Cal Quantrill. Everyone sees the Cubs. I just think they got it. I mean, looking at the ownership.
What are their numbers? How owned?
It's looking like low teens for some of them, but I think it'll be even higher. I mean, I don't see how it's not. It's Cal Quantrill. I don't worry about ownership as much as other people, though. So, I'm with you. I'm in on the Cubs. This Crow Armstrong dude, I played him every time I play the Cubs, he hits a bomb. So he's gonna hit a bomb tonight too. Is he supposed to be really good? The dude's a stud.
Who?
This Crow Armstrong dude.
Highly rated prospect.
He's a monster team. Just keep playing him. Yeah.
I mean, when guys treat you right, you guys know that about me. I will play him forever. This dude.
He's
and
a
Kyle
monster.
Tucker, obviously. I mean, you can start. Look at this lineup. We were talking about even Birdie. He can run in the 9-hole. This is a lineup where you can go all the way down. So I'm in on the Cubs. So JT probably is going to be against us because we never all three agree.
I mean, have you been listening to anything I've said?
No.
Okay. All right. We all do like the Cubs, Big T.
Yeah.
We all do like the Cubs.
What about Rhea, though?
Ray is on the playbook.
Oh, how many aren't they all on the playbook? Which ones you like?
No. Ray is a very good player.
I mean, there's 9 dudes on the playbook. I need some conviction with us.
I wrote. Oh my God, this is painful. All right. B-Nair is in here. He thinks the slate's very easy. I'm sure it's got to do with his love of a team playing in a game in Seattle later on. All right. Big T, will stick with you. Next game, Colorado heading out of Coors and into Texas. Chase Dollander, who everybody in Discord thinks is very good and will be good at some point, but simply has not been, against Tyler Mahle. Mahle 9,200, Dollander 6K. Mahle, a very interesting season. You look at his numbers and you think, man, he's been very lucky. And that's partially true. Then you look at his StatCast and the ball movement that he's getting from his pitches, and you see, well, he's not that easy to hit after all, even though he throws in the low 90s. The Rockies, the Rangers, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, so as far as Melee, I remember him playing with the Reds, and he's always the guy that I worried a little bit against lefties, but he owned righties. And it looks like his stuff's even better now, just from listening to you guys and some of the stuff I've seen. But, man, when you look at the price tag and you see like 9Ks for this dude, it's like, whoa. But it is against the Rockies. You look at the lineup. I mean, Ryan McMahon's been pretty decent. He's a lefty, obviously, but man, I mean, Moniak, Martini, Amador's a switch hitter, I think. There's not a lot of lefties in this lineup. It's kind of like the same as just the way the slate overall. Some of the top pitchers, you're not going to, like, feel great about, which is why a lot of people are going to want to punt. So I don't know if I can pay that price for him, but will that make him lower owned? I mean, what is he supposed to be owned anyways at that price? 9,200, about a 25% range. Man, I don't know what to think about him, but the matchup's great. And then I'm definitely on the Rangers though. Same thing with the Rangers. Like this Dollander dude looks way worse against lefties. But you look at Texas, there's no lefties, right? With Seager out, Evan Carter's in the one hole. Jacques, I haven't looked at the box scores in a week, but man, he might have been the worst hitter of the year. Unless something's changed, he's been horrendous. What has he been good? Is that why you're making fun of me?
I haven't looked at the box scores in a week. Just that itself had me laugh.
Last Monday's show is what I was looking at the box scores. So, but anyways, they have no lefties, so that makes me like DC's boy Dollander a little bit. I don't know. There's no lefties. Who am I worried about? Evan Carter's good. Tucker freaking Barnhart. I mean, what do they got? Three lefties in the whole lineup. So I'm in with DC. I was making a joke, but I'm in.
DC. You have an interlude, JT, or should I just piggyback on Big T?
DC, let's hear your takes on the Rockies and the Rangers.
Yeah, definitely in on Dollander today. What an elite play. What is going to be, Big T? Can you get the ownership for us there on Mr. Dollander? It's got to be low.
Let's pull it up.
I mean, admittedly, I did play him in his
last 3%. There's no way he's that low.
Exactly.
There's no way.
His ERA is almost as high as Chase Petty's.
Yeah. But yes, 3 to 5% on Dollander. Ticking up slightly due to this show, and I'm sure some other donkeys will join us, Big T, on the Dollander train. But, I mean, this dude has, like, pretty elite stuff. He has to pitch half his games in Coors Field. He's a young pitcher. He's absolutely capable of blowing up. It reminds me of, though, A.J. Smith-Shawver or Gavin Williams, where you look at the dude with the 98-mile-per-hour fastball in a pretty good matchup at 3% owned at a cheap price point. Yeah, give me some Dollander tonight. And then Mahle on the other side. I mean, this Rockies team is like, it's hard not to play any decent right-handed pitcher against him, right? Their strikeout rates are just enormous. But then I'm like, the price thing on Mahle, right? Where you're like, this is the highest price that he's ever been or will ever be. Do I really want to buy in at the very, very top? But the Rockies matchup might make it worth it to do so. So I'm going to have both of these pitchers, not really playing these offenses much.
All right, fair enough. Looking at the pictures, not on the Texas, by the way, going to be highly owned, and it's not just Dollander. Of course, it's the Rockies bullpen that has been an absolute gift to a.
But JT, just real quick, doesn't that? I think that makes Dollander be lower owned than he should be because people see the total against him. And they don't factor in that it's the horrible bullpen contributing to half of that total.
Yeah, I didn't listen. Dollander aside, right? When I looked at this slate and went through everything, the Rangers were not one of the teams that I said, "Oh, for two reasons. One, I just without Seager, and Vip is in here. If he's in here, he said it in chat. They're a different team without Corey Seager. They're just not as complete a team without him. And then I don't like playing the Rangers when they're popular. Like I get the Rockies, right? All of that. But there's a couple of things that I look at that are in the betting market that suggest that the over bets on both the strikeout props and outs prop for Dollander are like almost in max bet territory. So that kind of tells you what the market thinks about him, and I've been trusting that, and that's a play that got us on Sugano, got us on a couple of other good lower owned pitchers. So I'm fine. Like you said, you don't need to do much to get over on Dollander. Play 10%. Play 10%. You're happy. DC is going to lock him in like 5 lineups, which is fine. That's the way he does. And
wow.
What? Are you not locking
in? Okay.
I'm giving you credit.
Yeah, sure. All right.
What is wrong with what I just said?
Big T knows. He's laughing. It's
the best show. I love my Mondays are my favorite day of the week.
Maybe DC's playing like 400 lineups today and locking him in those. So who knows? All right. Let's move on to the next game. DC, we'll stick with you. This one in Kansas City, 80 degrees in Kansas City here. Michael Wacha, 70.
In Kansas City?
No, sorry, it's in Houston. It's in Houston. My apologies. I'm looking at it backwards. Game in Houston, Michael Wacha, 7,900. Ryan Gusto, 7,500. DC. Word on the street, Gusto going to have a pitch limit cap. We're not sure what it is. What are your thoughts on the Royals and the Astros?
I think this is the worst DFS game on the slate. I don't really want to play either of these pitchers. Just don't see the upside with the strikeout rates on the other side, and not lineups I like to play, especially against right-handed pitchers. So the cross-off game, the Big T special, I'm out on Astros and Royals.
I don't mind minis here and maybe full stacks of the Astros. Looks like they're coming around a little bit here. Big T, what are your thoughts on Royals and Astros?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like in love with these lineups. So and I don't like the park. I haven't done a ton, but it's just slate dependent. And a few of the games we've talked about, I haven't loved. I'm not going to like a game in Seattle. I'm not going to like a game in San Francisco as much, just as you guys make fun of me each week. I don't like those parks very much. So I'm going to playing 150 teams in this $5, not 5 teams like DC. 150. I got to cover a few more bases.
DC is probably playing 150 tonight. The way that he reacted to me.
But my point being, we got to sprinkle a few other in. So against a guy like Wacha, I kind of like the top half of. Let me pull it up on Saber real quick. The top half of Houston, where a lot of these guys I can make a case for. It gets a little tough at the bottom. Like Caratini's a guy I just never like. I don't know. I guess these guys are okay at somewhat tiny ownership. I mean, you got 4K for Jake Myers. No one's going to play that. No one's going to play any of Houston. So I like the prices on Houston. Both these teams are just going to be fillers. And then Kansas City, they're a team. I might hate Kansas City more than any team in baseball as far as stacking. Like they got nothing out there that I like. And I want some just because I think this Houston pitcher kind of stinks, and I don't love Houston this year. But, man, what do you – I mean, look at the bottom of this thing. Biggio, Waters, Isbell. I mean, man, this team – maybe it's another mini stack. Again, I keep going back to JT's point, but maybe it's more of a 3-3-2 or 3-3-1 type year, 4-3-1, anything like that, because – Kansas City is another team. I don't see how you can full stack them. I don't see how you can go with 5. But
yeah, well, the case for them is the stolen base upside that you have with guys throughout this lineup. You've got Bobby Witt, India actually starting to hit the ball a little bit. Michael Garcia, Michael Massey, they steal bases. I'm with you on Biggio. Waters was good early in the season, but I know you hate the park. But look, there were probably 30 some odd runs scored in this park between Saturday and Sunday. And if you played Reds, Astros here. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have mattered just because of what the San Diego Padres did, putting up 21 runs. But with the back ends of these bullpens, like I said, Red Sox torched this Kansas City bullpen all weekend long. I think you could see runs here. I know that DC doesn't agree, but I think you could see runs given the limitations of these starting pitchers.
One thing I want to add on to what JT said too was whenever I see two totals on Sabre that is higher than like the actual totals, I always take note. In Kansas City, 4.6. I mean, what's their team total on DraftKings? Like, it's got to be under that.
3.9. I'm looking at it.
It's got to be under. Like, it's crazy when Sabre's that much higher on a spot. Doesn't mean it always works out. I'm not saying that. But
of course,
when the sims and everything they're using kind of point to a team heavier than I think they should be, I at least take note of it. I'll say that. And bump them.
Just one thing to add on this game, and I think it kind of goes along with what you guys were saying. I did like a deep dive into the bottom half of the Royals lineup a couple days ago, and these dudes are like as bad as you think they are. Like they are like stone cold, the worst hitters in baseball. Waters, Isbell, Biggio, like these guys are like bottom 5%, all of them. Just so the top of the Royals lineup makes some sense, but don't try to play those guys at the bottom. They are like just straight up some of the worst hitters in the game.
When I run my Sabre Sim for the 5 at the end, on the teams like this, I just never play guys down here. I always just play the good guys. Yeah. And then like good teams, then obviously you open it up to more like Yankees. You're going to want everyone. These big teams, you're going to want everyone. But
it's
not
just important. Like not all $2,500 bottom of the lineup players are created equal. You know,
yeah.
I mean that's one reason the Boom Report is awesome for that, right? Yeah. Finding those cheap guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are not many Trent Grishams in the world. Let's just remember that. Guys who can go from the bottom of the order to the top.
This bottom of the Royals is gonna fuck some shit up tonight.
Trent Grisham is you guys made fun of him for a lot of years. He's murdering the ball this year.
We're not making fun of him at all. I'm saying he was a good play.
And you are making fun of him. I got made fun of that dude for years. How much I liked him for the record.
We'll see. The thing is, we'll see. Like these guys that don't play a lot, then they play and they start to do well, like a Verdugo. It's because literally teams have fucking forgotten about them. And they're like, who is this? Oh, yeah, he played a while. Okay, let's get the book on him. Let's get the video. And then all of a sudden they disappear once again. So that's kind of what – I mean, we're not making fun of you. We've just seen this movie before.
You're allowed to on Mondays. I accept the making fun. You can get on me. You can make fun of me about my platoons.
It's all love. It's all love. Let's move to the next game. We're running out of time, and DC has to go make his Dollander Braves lineups, as someone was pointing out.
All 5 of them.
I thought you said last week. You said Thursday you were playing 5 lineups. So I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying you're playing 5 lineups. All right. Angels at the Padres. DC. Yusei Kikuchi, 7,100. Michael King, 9,500. Michael King is going to be the highest owned guy on the slate, coming off a couple of down performances. It's hard to argue with it against a team that's batting Yoan Moncada in the 3 spot, Travis d'Arnaud. And then you've got Kikuchi. Look, we haven't been taking pitchers against the Padres very much as Big T eliminates half of these guys from his pool. What are your thoughts here on Kikuchi, King, Pods, and Angels?
So, I mean, I think King looks pretty good here at the 95. I prefer him over Skeens. What's the ownership on that T between the two? King is right up there.
30%.
King's got to be higher, but let's see.
Yeah.
King is going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate.
But not like a crazy amount, right? 30, 40%? Something? Yeah.
60.
So, I mean, I think he's
ranked up high, about 50, 60.
Yeah.
That's my point about Skeens, though. I don't think King should be 3 times higher.
I mean, obviously, the bigger the ownership discrepancy gets between the two, the better Skeens as a play, right? I mean, just yeah. But I do like King here. I do think he is deservedly ranked as the SB1, will be owned as such. I'm not really worried about the last couple poor performances from King. He should crush here. So not much more to say. And then no Angels bats.
Yeah.
Not Kikuchi. I mean, Tatis and Machado, I think, are fine, but I'm not going crazy with offense here.
Big upgrade here. King goes from facing the Yankees in the Bronx to the Angels in San Diego, Big T. I think that's enough of a reason why I kind of agree with this ownership here. I do think it's a nice bounce back spot. And then Kikuchi, he has been okay. He gets the Rockies coming out of Coors, so it's certainly an upgrade compared to what they've been facing. More of a price point play, 7,100 on Kikuchi. Not a ton of interest, but maybe he'll remain in the pool. What are your thoughts on the Pods and the Angels?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. The Padres might be one of my least favorite parks, too. So that's one of the reasons I was pulling all the Angels out while you were talking. I can't play on a slate like this. I just never will go in on a team like the Angels in a bad park. I get like the leverage of people that do it where they can play like 5% of the Angels, and when they beat up the chalk pitcher, I get it in my head. I just don't do it personally. I would just rather go to other spots. So I'm not going to be on any Angels, but I do think you can play some Kikuchi against the Padres, even though I don't love it. He's just a guy that I don't mind lefties against him. And like you guys said, Tatis, Machado, Bogarts, even though I don't love Bogarts, I mean, he's fine. The righties, and they only got 5 of them, and only a couple I would even consider decent. Although Elias Diaz is a platoon guy he was always the guy I liked against lefties. And the theme of the show that I got to talk about my platoon. So for me personally, I'm going to remove the lefties. Arias, even Jackson Merrill. I know that probably kills you guys to move good guys out like that. Cronenworth. Who else? Gavin Sheets is even a lefty, right? I mean, I'm getting all those guys out, but I could 5-man stack this 5 right here and platoon it right up you guys. You guys love that, don't you? Get Jackson Merrill out of there for Brandon Lockridge. What do you guys think about that?
That's exactly what I would have done too. So
really? We're in agreement?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That makes me actually feel even better than getting made fun of. I like this 5-man right here.
Yeah, me too.
JT
doesn't. I can tell JT doesn't.
He doesn't like the Jackson Merrill for Brandon Lockridge switch up.
Again, if you're going to 5-man, so if you're going to 5-man the Padres, you're thinking that they're going to score runs, and if they score runs, then Kikuchi is going to be gone by the 4th inning. And if that's the case, then you want Jackson Merrill in that stack. I mean, maybe not at 6K, obviously, right? You've got plays on the Cubs, you've got plays on some other teams that you could go there, but I just wouldn't say, all right, if I think this team is going to get to Kikuchi, then I am not going to play. Yeah, I think you play these guys. Maybe you play them less. That's fine.
But like you don't have enough teams though. You're spreading too thin. So like, what's Merrill? Jackson Merrill? I mean, it's like 10% owned. I mean, I don't know. He's going to get owned. I just would rather be different. I don't know.
You guys are making fun of me, but the reason I like to play 5 teams is so I don't have to play the left-handed Padres.
Now you're circling back to you are playing 5 teams after all the 5 of us going back and forth.
I have to now. Yeah. But then you can play the guys you actually like if you hand build them. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Well, all right. Well, if I described exactly what you're doing, you can't be all that offended. I mean, this is what you told me.
Did I seem offended? A little bit, yeah.
All right, Big T. Anything else to say on the Angels and the Padres?
No.
Okay. All right. We can move on. Let's move on. We'll stick with you. Talk about your Yankees and the Mariners. You already said you don't like this park. What about the pitching? Clark Schmidt, 7,500. Emerson Hancock, 6,500. Thoughts here? 60 degrees, light winds in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, this park, I should do a list of people would actually probably laugh at my list of parks because I never look at like the actual data, but I know Seattle has to be my least favorite of all the parks. I don't see any way it's not. But the issue is, what's that?
Someone should cut that, right? Clip that, right?
It.
I don't actually look at the data.
Yeah. Screw the data.
I
The
just
data's
know.
overrated.
I know.
I just know. By the way, runs have been being scored in this park early going of this season. So go on.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners are a monster power hitting team, but I'm still gonna. And this is another game too where the numbers are higher on Sabre than I think they are around. I haven't like looked at what
Slightly, about half a run higher. They've got it,
which is significant. I think when you can have something like that much higher than the betting market, I mean, it is significant. So, I mean, Hancock against this lineup is just murderer's row. So I'm definitely not going to be on Hancock. Schmidt, I mean, Seattle, I think has made me more money than anybody this year, any team, just because the top of this lineup is just really, really good. And so I don't know how much I like Schmidt either, but it's just one of those pitching slates that, I mean, he's projected over 15. He's 7,500. He's in this park. Definitely not removing him from my player pool on a slate like this, even though I don't love the matchup. I am going to limit my Yankees, though. I mean, at these ownerships, 15% for Judge, although Judge, I mean, can beat any slate. And the park's not going to matter for a guy like Judge either. When he hits them, they're going to go. So, I don't know. Grisham, Judge, Ben Rice, definitely I love these three. The further you get down, though, I don't need these guys in this park. So, mini stack Yankees for me, some Clark Schmidt. Seattle, I think more of the same, where I like the top side. I'm not going to play Crawford, but Polanco. I mean, Polanco's been awesome this year, which I love. Another splits guy that I've loved forever is Jorge Polanco. So him, Cal Raleigh's been probably the best catcher this year. And then the lower you go, though, the more I'm not going to like it. So I don't know. Mini stacks here. I think it's probably the best mini stack spots of the night, though, where I don't think – you can just home run hunt, right? A lot of these guys are just home run hitters that you can get a lot of upside from only a couple guys.
Okay, fair enough here. Last game of the slate will probably be pretty quick for you, Big T, because the game is in San Francisco, a park that is on your do not call list. It is the Diamondbacks heading in to play the Giants.
Neither one of you guys are talking about the Yankees game?
Yeah, I got a couple things to say.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, DC. I forgot. DC.
All good?
My apologies.
I mean, the Yankees against – I know the park sucks, but, like, you give me Grisham and Judge and Rice against Emerson Hancock, who's awful. I think they can still all do big damage there in Seattle. So one of the rare times I'm willing to go against that park. I'm with you, Big T. I hate it in general for hitting, but I think tonight I could make an exception. And then Clark Schmidt looks kind of interesting. I mean, those K rates for Seattle pretty high against right-handed hitters or right-handed pitchers, and you throw in, I mean, Clark's cheap, and what's his ownership? T, do you have that? Clark Schmidt?
No,
Can't be that high.
Can't be.
I think he's
about 15.
Yeah, I think he's pretty interesting. I think the K upside is there. 6-7 strikeouts possible for Clark Schmidt. So yeah, mostly Yankees in this one for me.
They're trying to squeeze my man DC, they said in the chat. JT is just sharp enough to actually do it on purpose too, to know that it would come.
I think I wouldn't notice.
Come on. I love DC's takes. I've agreed with him. Most of this slate. DC will stick with you to make sure that we get your thoughts on this next game. Diamondbacks and the Giants. Merrill Kelly at 7,700. Justin Verlander, who I know is one of your favorite pitchers, 7K flat. What are your thoughts on Diamondbacks and the Giants?
D-backs let me down a little bit over the weekend against the Dodgers. I thought they were going to do more damage. I like him a little bit against Verlander, who I think is like just way, way past it, but it's hard to get there. Big slate. I'm probably not going to get there to the D-backs. Kind of the same thing on the other side. I don't think Kelly's going to pitch well. I don't think either of these pitchers, honestly, are really viable, but hard to get to the bats on this particular slate. So pretty much a pass for me.
Big T, I know you don't like the park. Any interest in the pitchers? And is tonight any different where you may like the park?
It's just a tough spot with these pitchers where neither one looks great, but you do have a good park. The weather's, somewhat. It looks like it's already in the 50s there, so you're not getting any hot weather or anything. And like Merrill Kelly, I think this Giants lineup is a pretty good matchup for him. Just looking at the guys all the way down the list, I don't see a ton of all that. So I think you can play Kelly. There's no pitching on this slate too that at least I feel like I have to have. I know Dollander's out there for DC, but I don't love any of these pitchers. And I don't know, Verlander, man, do I really want to play Verlander against all these lefties and good upside guys like we just got the Arizona lineup right as I was talking about it.
You can't play Verlander.
Yeah, I think you can play both of these pitchers and kind of just close your eyes and click it. It's one of those true games, though, where I could see the final score being like 5-4 or something, but not a lot of fantasy points. Just grind along, get some hits. Maybe a double scores a couple runs and stuff, but it's going to be a pretty neutral game for me overall.
I will break the tie here, I guess. I do have it. I'm going to keep playing these Giants when they're low owned. Looks like they're going to be low owned tonight.
They've crushed this year in low ownership.
I like that. I do like that call, JT. Yeah, that makes sense.
You get Merrill Kelly on the road, and then you get a bullpen that was decimated by the Dodgers, which they're going to do to most teams. That's not the point, is that the Dodgers beat up on the bullpen. The point is that 4-game series with the Dodgers, now you have to go and face the Giants, where some of your main guys threw a lot of pitches over this weekend. And now you've got Yastrzemski stealing bases. I think he stole a couple of bases yesterday. Heliot Ramos has been absolutely scorching the ball. So I'm interested in the Giants here. I'm in on the Giants, not so much on the Diamondbacks on this slate, even though they should have it easy with Justin Verlander. Final thoughts, DC?
Good slate. You want me to go over pitching or stacks, or I guess
we're gonna do that. We're gonna. I meant just overall summarize your fucking final thoughts. Jesus.
Just trying to lock in on my 5 lineups over here, but it looks good to me. I'll be riding the Dollander train over here, much to your chagrin, JT.
What more do I have to do to agree with you?
It's not as fun when you agree anyway.
I mean, as long as it's not Quantrill, I'm not upset. I'm going to play Dollander, actually.
I hope so.
There we go. Now we're all in agreement on someone.
Get in there.
He's going to give up like 15 too after we all agree on it.
Yeah. No, it's.
I'm ready for the punishment. I'm ready.
Look up at 8:30. It's game's 20 minutes in. It's 17-0.
Definitely play the other side too.
You got it.
There's like 2 guys on and 2 runs in the first inning, and you're like, all right, get out of here.
Makeup mode activated. Big T, final thoughts. Then we'll go as DC requested. We'll talk about your most important pitcher and your most important stack.
Yeah, I think it's a good slate just because there's not any just clear-cut chalk. There's going to be high-owned plays and stuff, but there's not. Michael King's high-owned, but still, it's just not. It's a slate you can go a lot of different directions and be good. So I love that they have the $5 on Mondays, too. $5. Even DC can play $1.50 tonight.
Can we get the $5 permanent stay here?
God, I wish they would. They never will, but I wish they would.
All right. DC, who is the most important pitcher to your success this evening?
It's gotta be Mr. Dollander. We've spoken enough about him. Come on down, sir.
All right. Big T, most important pitcher to your success?
Maybe Paul Skeens. After the theme of the show, you guys were making fun of him. Maybe Skeens. I don't know. I'm going to mix pitcher around a lot tonight because I only like, I think, one stack really that is way above the rest to me, looking at the numbers. The Cubbies will be my. I'm gonna mix pitchers and play the Cubs.
I just think it's a slate where, yeah, Michael King is going to be highly owned, but I am not going to overthink this spot for him with some of his matchups and the way that this Angels team has been playing against the Padres. So no Angels and Michael King will be pretty important to me, as he will be to a lot of people. I think the second guy is probably Colin Ray. It's probably a guy that I think is a very good play here on this slate as well.
Your point about Michael King, though, like, look at the rest of the board. I mean, you got Skeens in a tough matchup. Melee, we already talked about. Peters. If King puts up like 30-something, he's going to lap the field. So
he may not be matched. That's the thing.
By two guys, he might not be matched by two of them.
Right. I mean, what I said about in the playbook about Peterson is we're not playing Peterson because we think he's great. It's the Pirates don't have a lot of home run power, and they got a 30% strikeout rate against left-handed pitching. That's going to help Peterson a little bit, but then again, you know, he's not a guy that you see going 8 innings and giving you 34, right? So I think you could see that from King here if he runs clean against this Angels lineup.
Yeah.
Big T, the Cubs, granted, we were all going to be on the Cubs. All right, who's the second offense for you, Big T, that you will have a lot of exposure to and will be important to your success?
It's a weird night where I usually have a couple teams. Who else would I honestly don't know who the second team would be, and that's not usually the case. The second team I think would be the Padres, but it would be those righties that we were talking about, the 5-man. I'm looking at a lot of the other teams. I do think like the Houston game too could be sneaky for us. JT talked a lot about that. But honestly, like I'm just shoving the Cubs and then like 5% of a few other teams.
DC, I'll get to you here. I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to say that while I like that Houston-Kansas City game, I still keep the point about seeing both sides of the Skeens New York Mets matchup, and I'm not going to fade the Mets here at low ownership, even though it's Skeens. He's just – if he's just average, then you're excited because you're going to get to the bullpen in 5. When the Mets are doing what they're doing almost every night, they're working starting pitchers, getting deep in the count, getting runners on, putting pitchers in stressful spots. So I'm going to play the Mets much more than field tonight. Who is the other team for you that you're going to be overexposed to and will be important to how you do this evening?
Yeah, I'm a lot with Big T where I'm just jamming the Cubs. They'll be critical to my lineups tonight. Mixing it around a little bit from there, but I am trying to get as much Yankees as I can with the Cubs. Obviously, going with some cheap pitching to get all those big bats in, but I just not buying Emerson Hancock against this lineup, even in the pitcher's park. So Cubs and Yankees for me.
Neither one of you guys any concern at all that the Yankees go from maybe the friendliest park in Major League Baseball?
I don't like the Yankees tonight.
DC thoughts?
They're just going to be super low owned, right? In Seattle.
Are the Yankees ever like actually super low though?
I bet they will be tonight.
If the Yankees are for sure super low, I would like them, but that would be the only reason.
They're in the top 5. They're in the top 5.
Right.
I just think they're the most clear-cut mini tonight where you play like 2 of Judge, Rice, Grisham.
Yeah.
And just take the upside from them.
Yep.
Okay. Core plays will be up. Player pools will be up. Guys will be in Discord answering questions. Ire, we thank you for the tickets. We didn't get to them today. The guys will give them out tomorrow night. And therefore, for the members, come prepared with your best self tomorrow to compete in that contest. Until then, for DC and Big T, good luck in your contest tonight.